Okay, welcome everyone to the one of the early episodes of the MoonShot podcast. And what MoonShot is a very interesting concept that was developed by three amazingly talented people who all happen to be here. And to tell you a little bit more about what MoonShot is, I'm gonna hand over the baton to my co-host Josue. Josue, do you want to throw some light on what MoonShot is from your vantage point?
Thank you, Rajiv, for that introduction. Time and space is irrelevant in shot ideas because we expand the possibilities with our thinking. And that's what Moonshot is all about, that through our thinking and our efforts to make that possible and connecting with individuals that have the same type of mindset, we can have those moonshot results where we do great things with great people. Robert?
Yeah, Robert.
Welcome everybody. Marianne, you are our first official or unofficial guest here on the podcast. I just wanted to say that Moonshot is a working title. We might end up calling it the Satisfaction Zone, I think. Didn't we discuss this, guys? Or did something happen while I was at the beach or, I don't know. It's like, so Marianne, bear that in mind. Moonshot is a working title for this podcast, but we may end up calling it Satisfaction Zone. Are you
Right.
okay with it, Marianne?
Yeah, vibes up.
Cool. Do
Vibes
you
up.
have,
Whatever flows the energy that it needs to go. If it comes to
yeah,
you, it's for yours to do.
absolutely, absolutely. May I ask you which title resonates more with you, just as a matter of, just as a matter of principle? I'm just curious what you like as our guest. Does one of those two names resonate more with you, or both? Or how do you feel about that?
Well, when you think of moonshot, this is a sign from moon and up there into the universe. That's where we are. We're shooting out. We're shooting out our vision, our mission, to make the universe hear and listen to us. And the other one is
Satisfaction zone.
satisfaction zone. So I kind of like the moonshot because it's unlimited. And people kind of think it's out of this world and it's exciting, and the satisfaction kind of zone kind of I feel limited, but that's my thought, that's my feeling that's coming here, and that's my sign language space also too. So not to say if you didn't give me a choice I would have went with the flow. So but again, if it comes to you, it's for yours to do.
I agree. Oh, thank you so much for that feedback. Really appreciate it. I would like to ask Marianne if you can just give us a brief introduction. Other than we know that you sailed to Mexico on this trip on your sailboat. Is that correct?
My neighbors.
On your neighbor's sailboat. Could you give us a little bit of an introduction as to where you're at right now, your position in the world, and what you hope to accomplish in the near foreseeable future?
Okay, well, thank you. So, well, when I went on my journey to Hawaii, I went to visit and I ended up staying, and the universe provided, and I got to live on a 45-foot sailboat as a caretaker. And I was going through my own personal injury after being hit by an SUV through a hotel lobby and lost some of my hearing, suffering from vertigo, chiropractic treatment. And I used to be a case manager with the deaf. So I was a little bit limited, but I got up and I started going to the Unity Church of Hawaii. I opened up this beautiful book, and all the beautiful people in there were Reiki masters, practitioners, and I just felt this whole rush that this is where I need to go. And while walking there one day on Easter, we celebrate Easter because I met Mr. Scott Buchanan, who I ended up interpreting for over a decade in Hawaii at the Unity Church of Hawaii. And he lost his hearing at age 7, and he had a lot of speech therapy, so he spoke very well, very intuitive, and he was a Reiki master too. So we started going to the Unity Church of Hawaii. I would be interpreting at the back of the church. And through guided meditations, I asked what my next purpose was. And it kept coming to me that you're going to write a series of children's sign language books with puppets. And I laughed. And I said, okay, how am I going to do this? Who, what, when, why, how? And Anyway, we were walking down the Ala Moana Mall and I saw this tree of folk Manus puppets, and there was a chicken that I could put my hands in and I could sign with her. And lo and behold, I ended up interpreting for Chelsea Handler at her concert for Scott. And well, we called her Chelsea the Courageous Sign Language Chicken. And they had a glove puppet. And I called her Eve, the finger spelling bumblebee, because we believe in sign language. We have a belief system. And all this creativity was coming to me with the names and the characters and sitting with them. So I was sitting on my boat and all this garbage was floating around and I wanted to know why. Well, it was becoming from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch between Hawaii and California. And in 1997, Captain Moore from the Moore Institute sailed through on the biannual Transpac sailboat race. So they went through this soupy whole mess. And so I'm at Unity Church and I'm thinking of all this stuff in my head, how am I going to create these puppets? How am I going to write this book? How's it going to be different? Well, Suzanne Sims is a writer and a playwright at the Unity Church of Hawaii, which we snorkeled and dolphin swam with and knew me and Scott. And Lucy Lynch sang at the church. And excuse me, she had this angelic voice. So Suzanne said, yes, I can help you write this book because we're passionate about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So here we are. First book is done. And it's called Underwater Acts of Kindness.
Marianne, Marianne, so just I guess for context for our audience, why do you care so much about water and the Pacific Ocean? Like why? I mean, sure, I mean, we obviously want to surround ourselves with cleanliness because they say cleanliness is godliness. I mean, sure, but why that section of the world? Like why does it matter to you?
Well, because water is life, and our bodies are 90% made up of water. And, it's history of water and how water has changed. And if we learned about Dr. Emoto's love versus hate, and when you put a glass of water with a love on it, you see this beautiful crystallization. When you put hate on it, you see this negativity. And that's what's happens to us and how people approach us and all that. And I'm a fire sign. I grew up in the water and to live the dream in Hawaii and caretake a sailboat and sail with other sailors. And then I did get to go on a 91 days, 1,700 nautical miles up the ICW through the Navy. And so, yeah, this was my calling. This is what the universe said. And how could I put all these things together and bring it to life? And again, no one has done anything with sign language characters with animation movies. So I'm real happy that we completed the first one and then the second one, Rabbit X of Kindness, No Bully. Now we
That's
have,
awesome, Marianne. In fact, I'd love to hear from Josue as our other co-host who incidentally is from Hawaii and has been in Hawaii for quite a long time. So it's almost like I feel like I'm like the field correspondent here, calling in our man like on location in Hawaii. So Josue, I gotta ask, right? So you've obviously lived a fair amount of time in Hawaii. What is your perspective? And I think, you have like a lot of connection to kind of like organics and kind of using like natural materials and that sort of thing. So I guess how does some of that correlate with what Marianne is telling us about her passion with ensuring that the water around the Hawaii it seems to be polluted in a certain area? Like, what's your perspective, Hosman?
This whole conversation just opening up and in what Marianne is sharing, it really resonates, particularly when you live here in Hawaii. I've always thought of it being what I call the navel of our planet. This is right here where it's located, right on the equator. And from this, so much energy flows out that then it touches upon everything out there in our planet. Both of you are on the East Coast. You're in New York. Robert, you're in Miami. And I'm here in Hawaii. And it reinforces the message of these trade winds, these currents that's brought us together to have this conversation. It allows an opportunity for Marianne to share her message and me being here in Hawaii, it regrounds me to believe and feel that what we're doing here is the right message, the right work. And through this collaboration, through this idea sharing, we're going to breathe life into moonshot concepts. So as a first guest, you are the right message, Marianne.
Josue, I see someone in the waiting rooms called Damaris
That's my
Cevallos.
sister.
Oh, sweet. So she's joining us? Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that
Yes.
we weren't getting
Yeah.
bombed. Awesome. I'm gonna
I
let
think
her
this
in.
message will resonate with her as well. Damaris, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, she's in the car. You're
I am
tilted.
in the car. Yeah, so yeah, actually I just came back from a memorial service. So it's yeah, it's been a little bit of a busy day. So, but I'm here.
Thank you for making it, and we're having a great conversation with a wonderful host, Marianne, who has a lot of Reiki energy and a lot of experience working in sign language and has written several books. Rajiv, did I answer the question, or would you like to rephrase it in a way
No,
that
so Josue, yeah.
resonates?
So I think Josue, you kind of touched on the energetics. You touched on the significance of Hawaii and its location, and it's almost like its role in the world. And I kind of want to hear from Robert because Robert is a very energy sensitive spiritual being. So Robert, I mean, would love to kind of have you react to partly to what Josue said, but also to what Marianne said on, her passion with cleaning up the large, vast ocean that's in the vicinity of Hawaii. But, I mean, you're near a water body as well in Miami. So I kind of want to know what you think about it. And I also know that you're pretty passionate about swimming as well. So, like, how does all this sort of like coalesce for you?
Well, interestingly enough, I am, as you said, I'm into swimming, and only recently did I start going to the beach in Miami. I've lived here for a while, but only in the last 6 months did I start going to the beach. And funny enough, I was at the beach yesterday and it was just so beautiful. However, I will say that I'm very sensitive to garbage that I see on the beach. And thank God the water is not very polluted. It's almost entirely clear and free of garbage. I saw a piece of plastic, like from a styrofoam cup or something, on the beach when I was taking a walk. I picked it up and put it in the garbage can because, in a way, I feel very proprietary over that beach. It's so beautiful. But thank God there's not a lot of garbage that I've seen. But I have to say that even spending an hour by the ocean, and generally when I go, it's for an hour and a half maximum, it's so restorative to me. It's so healing. It's the counterbalance to all the junky energy that's being put out into the universe, all the apparent chaos, all the dislocation that's going on in the world. When I sit by the ocean and just look into the water, it's just amazing. It's such a gift, and I'm so grateful for it. So, yes, I am totally in sync with what everybody is saying about the water and its healing properties. I couldn't be more happy that our first guest is involved in cleaning up the water between California and Hawaii. And I do have a question for Marianne about that. Marianne, do you even know the scope of the problem? Like, how big is this plastic situation? How big are we talking about here? I mean, I've heard like incredible like size, basically guesses as to what it is. Do you know exactly how large an area we're talking about in the Pacific Ocean?
Well, when we wrote the book in 2016, we were learning just as much. So just imagine Captain Morse sailed across through this garbage patch in 1997. So it expanded. Okay, they're called gyras, and there are 6 to 7 gyras around the world. We're not the only ones affected. So this was miles and depth, and through the good works of Boynton Slat, a European young man, created these inventions to go in and sweep and suck out the garbage with these big machines with a company called Ocean Cleanup. They are doing that part, as well as other people also. So I'm sure they're shrinking. I don't quote me on sizes or anyone, but there's multiple around the world. And he is going to different countries. I saw him in Guadalajara looking at this river just filled with plastic, just going, oh my God, there is no movement in it. Okay. So he's creating like these bridges, traps, to one, collect the garbage, then another machine to suck it up like a vacuum, and conveyor belts, and then however they're transporting out of their location to condense them. But you can take a look at that on Ocean Cleanup, what he's done. And we did dedicate the book to him as well. We have permission to do that. I have a new video that I'll upload here that we just created a book trailer for this book. And we have a sea turtle called the General of the New Earth Army, who recruits Noah, the hardy herring whale, to tackle the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. As for he's rehabilitated in a boating accident with Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab. So we have a YouTube channel with the characters doing sign language of the ABCs, and these sea creatures all come collectively together to be of service to take on this Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And now we need you to be part of the New Earth Army as well. So I will upload this video. I'm so excited to share with you. Also, Leanne McLaughlin behind me here. He's with Clean Water Foundation that I met. I had him read the book when he was flying back to Seattle. He brings water units worldwide to schools. And so in this last year, I applied for Awesome Foundation Grant Award in Oahu chapter, and I received the $1,000 award. So in October, we gifted the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind a water unit value of $150 out of that grant, as well as coloring books for my second book for Anti-Bullying Month, Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully. He also went location. He went on campus. I set up with the sign language interpreter and the students. I was traveling from Vancouver to back to San Carlos because part of that money I used to hire Jay Stoyan out of the Disability Channel in Toronto with 32 million subscribers to interview me. And so we did this remotely by Zoom, and we have a copy of that as well. But I want to highlight that also what happened over on the island of Oahu is called the Red Hill contamination. These water tanks from the Navy started getting contaminated with gasoline, and over 100,000 families had to relocate or be misplaced, or the kids were sick. Now imagine this is going on too through the pandemic. So I'm really excited to share that I know I'm leaving my legacy with the clean water unit for the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind. And we want to multiply that to other schools as well. And guess what, Rajiv? This week I found out I won the second award for Awesome Foundation Grant, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the deaf librarian. I filled out the app for him, and he contacted me and said, I won it. Now, what do we do? So I called Leon. I go, here's our second acts of kindness for multiplying the success. We're going to get him a water unit, the coloring books, and our fourth book for cool acts of kindness for climate change now. So it completes the series as well as the t-shirts. So I'm in tears of joy over here. Special mahalos to Awesome Foundation Grant, deans, and everybody giving us this gift of clean water. And it's everybody's birthright to have clean water,
Yeah,
clean,
that's
fresh
amazing.
drinking water.
Marianne, yeah, in fact, I'd love to get Robert's kind of feedback on, we're just trying to unpack a lot of what you said. One of the things that you mentioned is you mentioned the very interesting characters in the story. And in fact, for those that are listeners that may not know this, but Robert actually wrote a children's book as well recently, which actually has many interesting characters as well. So I'd actually love to get Robert's take on the usage of those characters because, he's written what looks like it's kind of gearing up to be an Amazon bestseller, children's book using very interesting characters. So, Robert, do you kind of want to just comment on what Marianne said about her use of these kind of eclectic creature characters in her story?
Well, I think it's a really clever way of raising people's consciousness about this issue because it's not threatening. You know, when you use these characters from children's books, even if an adult is reading it, they can still get the message that's being sent to the kid. And in the book that I wrote, in a very subtle way, I tried to give people just the idea, the thought, the suggestion that perhaps healing is going to be done in a much different way in the future by creating healing centers in the middle of Mars, actually, in the book that I wrote. And I think that the future of healing, and Marianne, you could certainly weigh in on this since you were talking about an injury that you received from an SUV. But I think the future of healing is wide open, and these alternative ways of healing are, you know, just being accepted by people. And I think all you really need to do is to try them and see what works for you. And it's not as if traditional Western science is being thrown out the window. It's complementary to the Western view of medicine, the Western view of healing. It's just like having an additional tool in your toolbox. And I think that some of these other ways of healing are extremely effective. So to give the next generation, children that are just learning how to read, just the idea in their mind that there might be another way to deal with physical issues that come up in the body, I think is creating a whole different level of consciousness for the next generation. And, you know, I'm hoping to create a sequel to this book and to continue working to do that. That's a really important issue for myself. Marianne, what would you like to add to that?
I'll just give you two. My books are written for all ages of the heart, so it's, you know, like you said, it could be the parents or the grandparents, the tutus. They're reading and they get the message, and we have funs and puns of songs and stuff, and but it's relaying the message down, and it's for the inner child of everybody. Everybody has an inner child, no matter what age you are. And this is what's happening in our world, and it's global topic. And children's books too, just to let you know, only 3% of children's books have children or persons with disabilities or characters with a disability. So we're reaching out to 500 million people now worldwide with a hearing loss. And we have millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service now who can't hear their own children or grandchildren. So we are, you know, looking at all these things, and we have NOAA, the Hard of Hearing Well, that's for NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Agency. We want them to play with us. We want them to sponsor us. And yeah, so it's been great fun to, what I say is think outside the doc box. And if it comes to you, it's for yours to do. That's the message you can take away, and you are its messenger. So go out and play is our tagline. This is how you say play and also hang loose, or shaka in Hawaii, right?
You're speaking to me, Marianne.
I'm missing Hawaii. I got my aloha spirit here. But yes, and I want to just share another story too. So when I came back from my sailing up the ICW, 91 days, 1,700 nautical miles, I dated a retired Navy diver that cleaned up the explosives around the island. So just imagine that being on land. And again, we have the New Earth Army turtle, sea turtle, to be part of it. But when I came back, I ran into a friend, Marilyn Rogers, who's now a retired special education at Kamali Charter School. And she introduced me to Donors Choose. And we sat there for a half hour at Starbucks up in Makaha. And she requested 50 books for her classroom. In 2 weeks, she was funded. Amazon shipped out the books to the classroom. And I got to go out there with the puppets and Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab. And all the kids are like running on the kid. Where's Dr. Fingers? Where's Dr. Fingers? So they had already read the book, and then they can take it home to their parents and tutus who may have some illiteracy or dialect challenge, you know, the pidgin language over there, reading. But we're still sharing the message. And also too, look on the ground. If everybody finds 10 pieces of plastic, pick it up at the bus stop, McDonald's, the beach, Not too hard to find 10 things to do and pick that up. So again, if it comes to you, it's for your to do. So there's another success story too. And not only that, the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind are reading the books too, with Clean Water by Clean Water Foundation. Mahalo.
Marianne, I have a question for you. Would it be possible? I love the concept. I believe my spirit animal is the honu, because everywhere I've gone throughout my life, it always shows up. And I love the new army, the new Earth Army. Are you familiar with a gentleman that lived on the Big Island? He was featured in the movie the Men Who Stare at Goats.
Well, that's a good ironic thing that you said that, because my writer is Suzanne Sims and her first husband was him. That's how we were able to relay this concept over from the late Colonel James Shannon. Yes. So
I'm a big fan of his, Colonel Shannon, the First Earth Battalion.
Yep.
He's well ahead of his time, and the message you're speaking and everything is just resonating. My take on all of this is, as technology encroaches more and more into our lives, we have to come to a realization that it's a tool to serve us, but not to enslave us or to limit us and take over us. And this is where connecting spiritually and giving the human spirit more life, and recognizing that a lot of our problems, technology can be used to solve them, not to create more problems, but to solve some of these bigger issues that we face. And a lot of what this plastic waste is repurposing, figuring out a way of not using more energy to solve that problem, but to use less energy to convert it into more solutions. And this is where we have to think a little bit more ahead of just picking up trash on the beach, because visually it captures our eyes, but in the unseen it's still there, and the problem is even bigger. And so this is where we have to have a shift. And what you're saying is so important, because oftentimes the most influential people are the children, because they can teach us, they can show us. And I love your approach and everything you've said so far.
Thank you. Mahalo. I'm trying to upload the book trailer for that book, and it's down in your chat. So I don't know if you're going to play this during the Zoom or at the end, but I'm real proud that we just made it. And again, we're dedicating it to Boynton Slat, and a special mahalo to Leon McLaughlin, because he met Douglas Carroll, who is over there in Hawaii, who is a CNN reporter. And he is doing a segment on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And I believe his daughter is doing something in the Honolulu Harbor as well, where I used to live. But yes, so we're making the good news out there. And yes, and I have an idea for a song. It's called A Whole New Way.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Marianne. In fact, I'd like to loop Damaris into this conversation. Damaris has been sitting there very patiently listening to everything that has transpired here. Damaris, do you have either any questions for either Marianne or any of us, as well as do you have any comments that you'd like to share?
No, not at this time. I was just joining in a little late. I really I missed some information that hopefully next time I'll be able to catch up on.
Got it. Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, Marianne, thank you so much for hopping on this quick chat with the MoonShot podcast that may also be known as the Satisfaction Zone. That's a TBD. But thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for your time. And we will take your information and add that to the episode description so that our listeners can find your socials, find where the book is available, and really support you in all your endeavors. And we really wish you all the very best and continued success on your mission and your movement and your revolution.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Marianne, for joining us.
Thank you. Mahalo. So go out and play.
Robert, you're on mute.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank her for appearing on the show, and we really, really listened to you, and we could hopefully join in the effort so that the waters are pure and clean in todo el mundo, in the whole world.
Yes. See. Okay.
Have a great evening, everybody.
Let me download this video that she posted, and
Can you please?
do we want to play it?
Yes, you have to.
Let's play it on the podcast since we're recording it. I think it would be
Okay.
Please
Yeah.
do. And I just uploaded the flyer for the free 4th book for climate change on World Water Day with Rajiv. This is so exciting.
And Rajiv, how did you both meet?
Yeah, so I saw Marianne on this other group called the Unicorns Group, which is filled with many very eclectic people, which I'm sure both you and Robert will resonate with on a very deep level. So I'll introduce, both of you to that group, after the fact, and then I'll tell you when they meet and all that. And I think you may enjoy some of the conversations being had, but the short answer is that's where I met Marianne, and she was talking about her book, her movement. She was also talking about potentially adapting the book to a Netflix, either docuseries or Netflix TV show that she's currently in conversation with. So it seemed very exciting, given the fact that it was something to do with serving others, serving the planet, making the world a better place, literally, because obviously water is our life force. And she was kind of working on that. So after hearing her, I figured that she would make a very interesting guest for the podcast and for our audience.
Wonderful. And Marianne, I'm doing some work with the Department of Education here in Hawaii, and perhaps we can collaborate on continuing to spread your message.
Oh, yes, please do, because I got the book on the social emotional learning curriculum when we first started. And, talking about Donors Choose gave $25,000 to teachers requesting products like Marilyn Rogers did now that she's retired. So when I'm on podcasts, I talk about that and to get the books out there and everything. So I have the website, and yeah, we can talk more about that. So if you could be kind to play the video.
Yes.
And then I also teach 10 basic signs. So this is a sign for peace. Do it with me. This is a sign for peace, everybody. Peace. This is a sign for love. Now hug yourself. We need the minimum of 8 hugs a day to survive in this world, and up to 20. Happiness here is from the heart. Happiness. And this is thanks or mahalo. So the book's messages of peace, love, happiness, and thanks. So you'll hear it in the video. So we'll sign it together.
All right. If I downloaded it, if I can share my screen.
Yeah, I think I downloaded it, so I'll see if I can play it on my side. Let me see if I can do that. Give me a moment. Yeah, here it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if you could help save the ocean just by listening to a story? Set sail with underwater acts of kindness. Join Noah, the hard of hearing humpback whale, and his marine friends as they take on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. On their journey between Hawaii and California, they discover an enormous pile of plastic, but with teamwork and courage, they plan to clean it up. With the guidance of Dod General of the New Earth Army, they rally ocean creatures and you to help restore our seas. Now available on Amazon Audible, listen as author Marianne of Waikiki narrates this inspiring adventure, featuring mesmerizing music by Lucy and the Perfect Wave and Nick's guitar, echoing the sounds of whales and dolphins. This book is dedicated to Boy and Slat, founder of The Ocean Cleanup, making waves for a cleaner future. Sing along with Noah's song and dive into a world of peace, love, happiness, and thanks. After reading, visit the Acts of Kindness series YouTube channel for more adventures. Learn the ASL ABCS with Dr. Fingers, the fingerspelling hermit crab on YouTube, kids. Get coloring books now at www.actsofkindnessseries.com and Amazon. Plus, grab your New Earth Army t-shirt and pledge to protect our planet. Underwater Acts of Kindness by Marianne of Waikiki, available now on Amazon, Audible, and actsofkindnessseries.com.
Beautiful message.
What if you could help save the ocean?
Yes. So I was able to go into Pierre Grill's studio in Manoa Valley during the COVID to record it on Audible for a day. And I received pandemic unemployment assistance where I federally trademarked everything. So working in lockdown, I met Dr. Liddy through Happy Neighborhood Projects, who I was a co-host, and then it was a sign language interpreter for that. And anyway, Lucy and The Perfect Wave recorded there also too. So I don't know if you're familiar with Pierre Grill in Manoa Valley Studios. So Lucy and her husband relocated to Germany. She's now in New Zealand right now. She would travel too. She's a beautiful artist, singer. Nick should be there. I don't know if Nick plays guitar at what is it, Casey O'Neill's? No. When the Irish bar down there with a couple of bands, he's got the beard. I don't know if he's still there. And Blake, and then Michael, I don't know what he's doing. My deaf friend relocated before the COVID to San Diego. He now became a veterinary assistant with 2 sign language interpreters during COVID. I'm very proud of him. I really relocated over here, and Suzanne Sims relocated to Ajijic, Mexico, where the Unity Church of Namaste is down there as well.
Awesome.
So we are still in spirit of creating this. And Leon McLaughlin, too, is in Seattle. He's going to be opening up, seriously, like 5 to 25,000 locations called Island Earth. They're going to be juice, coffee, water, tea bars. And they're going to be marketing and bundling the books, puppets, and
Marianne, yeah, thanks. So we're gonna have to,
okay.
call it a day
Let's look.
because we're kind of like overtime. But yeah, we'll put all the
Okay.
resources
All right.
and links in the episode description so that our audience knows exactly where to go and how to support you.
Thank you. And we'll hope to see you in November because he's going to do a coffee with Kaz at the Ilikai. I'll be in contact with you. Thank you again. Peace, love, happiness, and thanks, and aloha.